Life is good 13. 13 love y'all. You are creation 13. Um, Today I want to talk to you about humanity's fascination with the end of the world, or that there is going to be an end. There's going to be destruction. There's going to be war. Somehow or rather, humanity is obsessed with this end of the world scenario. They can't get past it. Religion is really um, obsessed with this ordeal. They focus on destruction and negativity of things. Just like with the news, so on and so forth. They focus on the destruction of everything. They just can't look past it. They the majority of humanity, or people who are in religion, or even any religion around the world, um, is just waiting for a savior to take them home. Like literally, like they majority of people just feel that life is just horrible here, and they just want to leave. Right? They just want to leave. And can I relate with that? Yes, because I was at one time at a very low state in my life, so I wanted that as well. And why is that? Why the fascination with the end of the world? Um, the realization that I got is because you cannot handle or deal with yourself. You can't even look at yourself in the mirror. You can't you can't deal with what happens in the world. You can't deal with what happens to you. You take things very personally, and you don't know how to escape from it. And you literally want to escape from it. Or try to make up something. Oh, God will take care of it. Oh, this is in God's hands. This is in Jesus' hands. They'll deal with it. But what they always find out is that stuff keeps happening to them. A negativity state keeps happening to them. And then they go through the state of, oh, why God? Why did this happen to me? Blah, blah, blah. Then they're in a depressed state. And then they have one good day and they're like, oh, God is God is helping me out, blah blah blah. I'll give it in His hand. It's just a repeated cycle over and over and over and over and over again. And you can see this with everything. Like, say, for Christian music, for example. I also grew up on Christian music, so it's about uplifting, but it's always giving your energy to God or Jesus. Always putting you in second. There was a Newsboys song. I was looking at some CDs that said that um, they are always second, and then God or Jesus is first. But why do we have to down ourselves? What is the point of that? What is the reason behind that? Okay. How I view religion is basically like preschool for um, gaining access to the spirit realm. Okay. But like with any history, there's always going to be um, uh, false in there, or just made up stories to make the story longer. Basically, telephone. There could be one accurate story, but because it was just handed down generation, 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 people missed stuff, and they created different things. But anyways, the basic thing is that why do people keep making them be second? That's because you need discipline. You need discipline in your life, and you got to learn and grow in your life. So you can use the Jesus character as an example. Um, and you have to do your research on it, because what I found out, like the letter J, was created like, what was it? I don't know, 500 years ago, 1500 years ago, I don't know, somewhere around there, um, way after the Jesus character was there. So Jesus ain't even his name. So, you have to look at that as one thing. You have to do your research on that. So, what was his real name? Some people say it's Yahweh. To me, I just call it Christ. Why? Because that being was bringing the Christ state of being back, the crystal state of being back. He was here to help remind us to get back into that crystal state, or Christ state, but it's really the crystal state of being. That's what his teachings was. And he said, specifically, in any Bible that you read, he says on there, do not follow any false idols. Don't follow anything. He never even said to follow him. He said to walk with me, to walk beside me. He will teach you how to become a crystal being. So then you can reach the source, or father, or mother. Okay? It's walking beside somebody and learning how to become a teacher, how to become a master of your own life. You can take control over your life. You just have to not be lazy and just keep handing things to somebody else. Oh, God will take care of this. Oh, my mom will take care of this. My dad will take care of this. My friend will take care of this. The government will take care of this. The people are always assuming that somebody else is going to take care of them. Why can you not take care of yourself? I don't get it. Like I said, I was in that state. I understand how it is. But you can't get out of it. Because everything that you go through is because you burden yourself with things. You burden yourself with your own emotions, and you burden yourself with other people's emotions. If somebody says, hey, I hate you, I don't like you, I don't want to talk to you no more. Facebook, for example, you say something, they don't like it, they block you. How are you going to handle that? And quite a few people get upset. I don't know why they blocked me. Blah blah blah. They take it personally. Instead of just letting it go. Is there going to be questions why that happened? Yes, of course. Are questions good? Yes. You always want to ask why it happened, but you don't want to create a burden from it. You don't want to create an attachment from it, which I'll talk about in the next video, about cords and attachments. It's one and the same. Cord and attachments, and not giving yourself enough credibility to yourself is creating cords and distractions in your life. But anyways, I'll confuse you. But you have the opportunity to uplift yourself and learn to not take things so personally. It's life is always going to be a challenge. Life is always going to be a test. I know I'm kind of getting off track here, but it's all pointing to the same thing. Putting something else in somebody's hands, a religion or character saying, "Oh, it's the end of the world." There is a pastor guy that I subscribe to, because I subscribe to him to see what he's feeding to humanity. His whole focus is the end of the world. He is so driven on the end of the world and using that to make people feel they need to be saved. I'm going to get in that in a second, but he makes people feel they need to be saved, fearing their own lives are going to be in jeopardy. He puts that fear tactic in them, and he focuses so much on every negative aspect. There's a war and blah, blah, blah. There's a quake, blah, blah, blah. There's an earthquake over here. There's an earthquake over here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? He constantly spreads fear. He never says anything about hey, focus on the now. Do what you can in your life. Be a positive inspiration to others in people's lives. And, uplift people around you. You know, if something happens, at least you're giving people that foundation and that structure to have enough strength and drive to not go crazy if something happens. You know, become a zombie state, running around with your head chopped off. You know, why do you think they show, I watch movies and they always do in the big cities, and I made a video about that. But they always do these big cities. Take Spider-Man 2, for example. I watched that not too long ago. And it's just, there's lots of destruction taking place, and you got all these humans just watching the destruction take place. They got their babies with them, they got their children with them, they're seeing cars blow up and stuff flying all over the place and buildings get destructed. They just stay there the whole time. Now, wouldn't you think that if you saw something like that and you didn't have the power or ability of a superhero, wouldn't you like go, that's perfect opportunity. You got millions of people all gathered up, so the roads are clear. You have plenty of time to escape and go somewhere else. Get away from all that distraction. That's what it is it's in a distraction. And that's what, the Savior state or Messiah state is a distraction to keep you from empowering you, from self-empowerment. It's keeping you from that. You got to think for yourself, and you got to do things for yourself. You can't rely on people. You can't rely on Spider-Man to save the day every time. He's only one character. He can only be there in one area. So say if there's 6 bad guys in each different area, he can only go one at a time. So he's going to have to make a choice on what is going to be sacrificed, and if it's his family, like say it's his grandma way over here, and it's his girlfriend way over here, he's going to have to make a choice. He's going to have to make a choice no matter what. Unless we find another superhero to go save over here, he's going to have to make a choice. And one of them is going to die. Okay? So you have to make a choice, and that is what life is. Making choices in your life. You can't save everybody, but you don't want to dwell on it either. You got to stay focused on yourself. Stay focused, stay balanced, and when things happen and you need to be somewhere, you'll be there. Your heart will tell you where you need to be. Just like with Spider-Man, his heart's going to tell him where he needs to be. And I'm not going to choose which one he would choose. But, it's his heart will tell him where he needs to be. And that's where you need to listen to your heart and start trusting in you and your heart. I think I probably made a video about this before, but one of the things I remember saying in one of my videos was there was a guy that told me that he doesn't trust himself. He puts his faith and trust in the God character or the Jesus character because he does not trust himself. Why can you not trust yourself? Are you so fearful that you can't even control your body? Allowing the demons or ego or manipulation, mind manipulation, to take control over you. Creating a zombie state. That means you're basically living in a Jekyll and Hyde scenario where you're a human 1 minute, but then the beast takes over you, and then you have no control over that beast, right? And that beast character is fearful inside, but it lets all that rage out because Jekyll, or was it Jekyll and Hyde? It's Hyde. Okay, it's Hyde. Has all these fear-based things. He's not able to handle things, so on and so forth. So he becomes Jekyll. I don't remember whichever it is. Jekyll and Hyde. But anyways, it's all that beast and all that rage is going to be released out if you don't take control over your body. like I said, you don't want to focus on the end of the world. You want to focus on the now, and you want to focus on how you can change the world. One person can change this world. One person can change this world. One thought can change this world. Um, Having an impact on one person can change this world drastically. It's just like the original Star Trek with Kirk, Spock, and all them. I don't remember which one it is. Hold on, let me find it real quick. Man, I don't remember the title. But anyways, um, Dr. McCoy, if you're familiar with Star Trek, Dr. McCoy basically he injected himself with some antibiotics or something by accident, and it made him crazy. So he ended up transporting himself to this planet, and all of them got transported down. But anyways, there was a portal there, and it says it was Alpha and Omega. He had every amount of history of the world, and you could jump through and go and experience if you wanted to. So Dr. McCoy ended up jumping in there, and what happened in just a second, Kirk and the crew there were trying to get a hold of Enterprise, and the Enterprise no longer existed. So Kirk and Spock had to jump in there and go find McCoy, and they had to just time it just right so they could find him. So I ended up going there in a week before he showed up. And things carry on, so on and so forth. And McCoy and Spock had to get some technology together. I mean, it's the 1940s, so there's really no easy way of getting technology that they needed. But anyways, they ended up looking up in this newspaper, and they showed two things: that this girl died, and that this girl stayed alive. And when she stayed alive, she made a huge impact. Well, they were showing two of them, and they weren't sure which one was which, but they did find out later on. So they had to protect this girl and watch out when McCoy showed up. So what also happens is Kirk ended up falling in love with the girl that they were watching, and they didn't know if she was going to die or not. So he ended up falling in love with her. Well, they later on found out that she had to die to create the reality where there was the Enterprise and all that. So Kirk and Spock had to allow her to die because McCoy saved her the previous time. So they stopped McCoy. She got hit by a car and died. That was a very hard thing. But Kirk had to make that that decision that to have a better reality of things, sometimes you have to sacrifice to create a better world. Now, that doesn't mean you had to go and kill somebody. You should save people, definitely, but you can't save everybody. But you also can create an impact. So that sacrifice created a better world. But it also made you aware that one person also changes the world. One person can make a huge impact. Definitely. So anyways, I know I kind of bounced back about all these things, but it all equals into one thing. That fascination with this end of the world thing has got to stop. It just got to stop. You gotta wake your eyes up. I mean, you gotta be open to what's being said here. You're being led astray. You're just being a puppet. It's the Vatican, the Pope is a perfect example of how brainwashed people can be in a book that has words in it. Okay, that Christ character, that character that brought the crystal state of being back, was telling you about all of this stuff that can take place and the reasons behind it. And if you play your cards right, like, there's the elite, the Masons, the 300, the Queen, um, the Greys, so on and so forth, there's much more to that story than that book right there. It's not even translated right. When they translated the Hebrew, Greek transcripts, they aren't even translated correctly. Um, so the American Bible is its own thing. It's its own story. It has nothing to do with what happened in the past. Um, and this brings up another point. Apocalypse. And I tell this to everybody all the time. Apocalypse translates into the great unveiling. Apocalypse America has been Americanized and even went to other countries as a form of destruction and chaos, so on and so forth. Apocalypse translates into the great unveiling. What is this great unveiling? The great unveiling is the veil being lifted and you remembering who you are, why you're here, and how much this is an illusion of things. That's what it is. And it says right in there, no matter how many times I make videos, I always tell you guys this, is that all shall be deceived. All shall be deceived. There's a reason why it says that in there. All shall be deceived. Because people focus so much on the distractions of things. Religion, end of the world, war, money, power, the list just goes on and on and on. New age, light workers, just all these things are distractions to keep you from being who you can be. It is about you. And once you learn to empower yourself and uplift yourself and learn how that crystal state works, then you start helping others and start lighting up their lives. I always say this in your video, is that you need to help people light up in their lives so they're not focused on all these distractions of things. So you have a level head, you have a balanced head, so you can make decisions. So if chaos is going on around you, at least you're making decisions that can help change that. And destruction and chaos is not going to happen unless if you allow it to happen. And that's something that you really have to discover, because there are so many people that give out so many different informations that you don't even know what to go by. You don't. You have people saying, well, the Anunnaki are going to come. That is the most commonly sayings that the New Age movement says. The Anunnaki are coming. Nibiru is coming. Blah, blah, blah. 2012, the whole situation of that. You look in the calendars. It's only, what is it now? I think it's 2007. Might still be 2006 of the Ethiopian calendar. So that preceded 2012 hasn't even happened yet. This is where the distraction falls into place. It's this whole world, this whole illusion is all misleading and distractions. People are leading you astray into all these things. All these pastors and light worker teachers and stuff. Now, I'm not saying that they're all negative, or leading you astray. But those that say, hey, follow me and believe in me and I'll take care of you scenario. You want to walk beside a person to be taught and learn, but you want to make sure you're staying on your path. Because a lot of teachers will become selfish and make it where they're going to make you feel like you're downgraded, like they're better than you. When your teacher makes you feel that way, it's time to move on, because that means that the teacher is getting jealous of you, because you are exceeding beyond them, exceeding beyond their teachings. So they can't comprehend where you're going with this. Just say in public school, say you voice your opinion, say, hey, your history books are wrong. Your history books are falsified. You go into a church, your book is falsified. Looking at all the new research and details that the world has discovered, your book is falsified. Okay? People get mad. You see the bitterness in their heart lash out like a beast. They just want to rip your head off. They just want to lash out at you. You will see a lot of pastors and new age people and so on and so forth lash out. They will let their aggressions out. Why? Why do you need to do that, right? I've had people, um, tell me things about my videos as well. And, at times, I became into a weaker state. But it was good for me because it allowed me to grow and develop more. So it made me even more stronger. But I never gave in because I know that it's all about me. And it's not a selfish thing. It's self-empowering yourself. Self-empowering yourself and learning from others. Learning what you don't want to be. When you see somebody lashing out on a video, you should be able to automatically go, I don't want to be that. I don't want my heart to be hardened. I don't want this rage to be lashed out of me. That's a lot of frustration that builds inside your heart. At times it can be frustrating when you are, giving people new ways to look at life and to better their life, and they're still stuck in the matrix systems or the programs of fear, like religion, so forth. They're so stuck in there that it can be frustrating, but you don't need to let your frustrations out because they're making their own personal choices and decisions. So it's, you have to respect others, and just be that positive inspiration. So when you talk, that's what they remember you by, is a positive inspiration, because that's what they need. They don't need someone to be yelling at you because you did something wrong. No. The only reason you do that would be, if your kids, are learning and they're not paying attention, you gotta make your voice rise higher, but you don't need to be angry. And in videos, you're talking to the world. You're not just talking to children, your own children. You talk to the world, so you got to present yourself differently. You got an image that you have to create for yourself. And that's how it is. I think that just sparked a video that I want to make next, about creating an image for yourself. So anyways, yeah, don't focus on this end of the world, because there will never be an end of the world, because there is so much change that is developing in this world. There is so much drive that is being spread. We are learning so much more about how energy works, how thoughts work, how timelines work, how the ETs work, and how the manipulation works. We're learning about all these things, and we are unlocking all these aspects of self so we can change the world all the time. We're getting to that stage where just thought will manifest things. And that's something that you have to discover for yourself. Like I always tell you, do not allow the world to run you. You run your world that is around you, that you physically see. You run that reality, and you are that inspiration and that center point for everybody that you meet up with and that you talk to. You are that change. That's why one person can make a difference. Always. So yeah. So, end of the world, no. Are things going to change? Yes. Is there a rebirth that's going to happen? Yes, and I'll talk about that too. And also, I know this video got real long. um, and also, it goes with the dream state too. I'll just make another video about that. But yeah, end of the world, don't focus on it. Negativity, don't focus on it. Focus on you, creating a better you, learning to trust yourself, master yourself, balance yourself, and become that Christ state, that crystal state of you. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Like I said, I was in my lowest state ever, and then I rose up. And when you're in that lowest state, you learn more. So, that is a very positive thing because I have experience with all of it. So I can relate with every aspect. So it's just something you just have to learn and grow and develop. So yeah, end of the world, just focus on you. Just focus on you, creating a better you, and then creating a inspiration to others to be better with themselves. So anyways, I love you all very much. Namaste, Laketch, and talk to you in a little bit.